Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on automation. Today you're going to be building up a new vehicle and getting a chance, of course, to test it out, to go for a little bit of a drive. I'm going to play around with a different engine sort because there is a new kind. The boxer engine, the flat engines are now here as a thing you can build in automation, and I have not built one yet, so that is what I'm going to give a try with. I'm going to try and build a half-decent overall sports car, if you like. Not going to be ultra high-end, ultra mad, but is going to hopefully be a fairly decent sports car. So we're not going for like full-on carbon fibre and everything, but maybe we'll go partial aluminium actually. Yeah, let's go for that. We're going to try and save some weight. We want the car to be ready to go. I'm going to try and make it vaguely, you know, economical. I'm going to try and not have a car that does about 5 miles to the gallon like I normally do. I'm going to try and not kind of push it all the way to the expensive end. Can we get some... there we go. Now we can compare it. I want something to be, you know, not too expensive, but we do still want it to be fairly decent. So we want it to be light if we can get it. Maybe we'll go AHS steel. Sure. We will have front engine longitudinal. I think we'll probably end up going rear-wheel drive with this. Maybe we'll go four-wheel drive. We'll have a think. It is going to be a sports car of sorts, so, you know, some slightly sporty suspension is probably a good idea. We'll have double wishbones at the front. I quite like the multi-link at the rear. It tends to be pretty good for sportiness characteristics. Right, engines. So, of course, you've got your usual... actually, they've got inline 5 as well. That's new. I didn't realise. We've got V6, 8 and 12, V6, 8 and 10s, and we have got the boxer engines. We can have a 4 or a 6. This is new up here as well. It will let you know about the engine size, how close it is when it comes to fitting in the engine bay. I think I've got a half-decent size engine bay to work on here, which is pretty good. We might try and stretch this. Actually, I've got miles of space in the engine bay. Fantastic. We'll go for a 3.5 litre. Sure, that seems like fun. 3.5 litre boxer engine. See, it's a strange. I will be honest. It's a strange-looking engine block. I've never worked on a boxer engine. They are a strange-looking block. However, they sound pretty cool. In general, I mean, I'll go with the dual overhead cam, 5 valves. Is a little bit more expensive, of course. However, I quite like that, and I tend to work with that when I play on this game. So we'll go for that. Let's go. I think aluminium is going to be a sensible option. Otherwise, it's going to start getting a little bit expensive. And there we have the basis of our engine. Now, we're going to want probably forged stuff. Let's face it. We're perhaps not going to be quite pushing out the power to require the full-on billeted steel, although we can come back if needed. RPM does tend to be what I go for over torque. So let's go for some lightweight forged in there. And I mean, we can go lightweight forged down there. That's probably the one to go for rather than just... outright forged isn't too bad. Maybe we'll go with that and cover all of our bases. We should be good. We'll keep the quality sliders where they are at the moment. If I want to try and get, you know, once I put all this together, if I want to get a certain power figure and so on, then I can come back and adjust those as needed. But I can't go too crazy if I want it to be even vaguely affordable. We'll keep it naturally aspirated again for now and see what... sort of see what power figures we get. It kind of makes sense, certainly with this kind of thing, direct injection over those ones. It just kind of makes sense to go for it. Considering engineering time, material costs is not that much different, and that's just so much better. When you're making cars in this manner, when you're in the sandbox mode and so on, we're a road car, so we'll go with performance. Yeah, when you're making cars in this manner, maybe, you know what? Let's go regular on the fuel. I normally go premium. That's what you'd find in, you know, normal petrol stations in England. But I know Arcana, one of the countries that you can make cars for, doesn't get that fuel. So we'll go regular. We'll make it a sports car for all countries, I think. We'll come back and fiddle around with all that once we're done. Exhausts. Well, we'll need long tubular or not. I don't know. We'll see. Really might get away with less. It's a road car, so we will have to get We'll have to get some of these, try and make it road legal. Okay, so after all of this, it's 230 horsepower, which is pretty crap. But we can we can do better. We will do better. We can. So first of all, let's go and up the compression a little bit. It was 91. We were able to go up to 90. Yeah, 91 on there. Probably be a little bit more aggressive on the old cam profile. That's put us already up towards the 300 horsepower mark. We can probably get a little bit more. So as we get a little bit more aggressive with the fuel mixture, now of course, as soon as we start getting more aggressive with the fuel mixture, the fuel efficiency value goes down. Now that isn't how many miles a gallon we'll get, however it is a rough estimate. We're going to try and make the car fairly light, but it is a good rough estimate as to what you are likely to see from your vehicle. Now we can get away with, we can go a little bit more extreme on the old compression front if we want, and we can rank up the cam profile to a giddying heights of about 340 horsepower. I mean, it's not the most crazy engine I've ever built. I'm kind of okay with it not being full-on bonkers. Maybe we won't quite up that quality slider that's quite so much. That will probably start getting a bit expensive. I will up that so that I can go a little bit harder with the RPMs. There we go. You know, I'm not too displeased. Not too displeased. We'll try and do a more, you know, a vaguely sensible sports car here. 355 horsepower from the flat 6. Okay. So we'll take the engine into a little bit of testing. Of course, you've got to hear, got to hear if the engine sounds any good. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I have heard noisier engines. I have heard, of course, it's not going to beat the big rumbling V8. However, my hope is that that looks like a half decent, you know, that looks like a power band that we can potentially use and we can work with fairly straightforwardly. It's not an insanely expensive engine. So, we'll use that as a kind of basis, if you like. So the body style I have gone for kind of a, well, I mean, a fairly straightforward saloon, or kind of saloon car. Shall we go with the coupe body style? Something a little bit, I say a little bit different. I mean, I guess this would be kind of BMW M2 rivaling sort of territory, I guess, at the end of the day. So yeah, do we go for the coupe as opposed to the hatchback, or maybe the? That just gives it an extra door. Nah, we'll go with it. We'll go with a two-door coupe on this. Colour-wise, what shall we paint our vehicle? We go bright yellow. If you can, you know, you can modify the colour. If you want to go for something truly hideous, you can do. If you want to try and make a particular colour, you can do. Of course, we naturally normally go for the old orange car. Shall we go for something nice and green? Sure. I think. I think that's... I can never remember how the paint thing works properly. Yes, okay. Nope, it's not applied it. How am I this useless? Sure, back. There we go, okay. We've got a nice new neon green colour for our car. Perfect. It's just what we wanted. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Right. The important bit, actually this car comes with wing mirrors. Not many of the vehicles actually come with wing mirrors these days, because, you know, there's a whole tab for custom wing mirrors if you want. Apparently this body style still does. What are we going to do in terms of headlights on here? See, I've always wanted to try and use these, and I can never quite get them to ever look right on a car. I think they might look right. So they're very similar. But actually down there it's sort of a little bit like a BMW 8 Series, the old 850s. They kind of need a car to have a very narrow front, and a lot of the cars, certainly a lot of the cars that you end up working on, the more modern cars, don't really have, because I mean these are like the lights I have on my Legnum, essentially. They're very similar, actually. But a lot of cars don't really have a narrow enough bonnet to get away with it. We'll give it a try. I'll see if I can come up with something that doesn't look totally awful here. With the, the answer is, can I come up with something that isn't totally awful? Probably not. However, can I come up with something that I am satisfied with? Whether you not like it or not, God knows. However, will I be satisfied with the car? Now it's just a happy frog. I mean, the names for these cars practically make themselves. Can we have? Yeah, I mean, I still kind of quite like this front bumper style with the vents at the side with a central main vent, if you like. Can we get... Let's just get a number plate on at the front of this, because we'd probably stick that in somewhere and try to decide whether I want... I probably want that lower down, to be honest. I probably want that to stick in there. Try to decide whether I want another, like a grill across the top bit up there, potentially. Yeah, slightly funky nose shape. I think we can, well, I say we can. We can change that. Sorry, if I can speak English. Can we... we can only sort of push it forward or backwards. I can't actually quite change the overall style. We can extend the wheel arches a little bit. This is so that we can get some of those all-important bigger wheels, bigger tyres essentially on the go. Oh, we can kind of move around the back if we want, but we can't move around the front. I just don't quite like that little sort of strange nose it's got going on, but never mind. So I'm wondering if, you know, like a small grill or something in there will help matters or make matters... No, it's like one of the pigs from Angry Birds. Not entirely sure about that. Now, I'm afraid, as much as I want those lights to work, I don't think this is quite the right car for it. Unfortunately, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to... Oh, I didn't mean to delete those, but I guess I did. Would have been nice to perhaps see them work. However, I'll have to try them on a different car. I think, yeah, sort of this sort of style of light suits this body shape a little bit, perhaps a little bit better. I mean, I'm not a good designer at the end of the day here. I think we've been through this before. I'm not exactly artistic or great when it comes to car design, but I try. Some of them aren't completely hideous. That's like the most important thing. Tail lights. I'm going to go to... I mean, this is another vehicle. I mean, these, I guess, might work. Because this is another vehicle where... Oh, hello. The kind of little vertical stacks do work pretty well. Although, I'll tell you what, those might fit in there without being too bad. We can get our rear number plate also on here. That can sit somewhere in the middle. Perfect. And then let's get... couple of vents. We will go with... Sure, we'll go with this. I think this is the style we had at the front. If we just have those, maybe not too stupidly large, but we can stick these on there, for example. It's just kind of... I'm not very best at trying to sort of figure out ways to break up the really large, flat surfaces on the car. So we come up with silly ideas as to how to break up the large, flat surfaces on the car. Oh, and if you want to get sort of them on opposite sides, you can mirror whatever you want. And we can have that. I'm still not sure about that, actually. Maybe we can just sort of stick it coming out there. Sure, whatever. That will do. That will do. It's fair. I mean, it's yeah, no, a fairly simple, straightforward car at the moment. We will get the other bits and pieces. Oh, could we go for like a? Shall we go for a? I mean, it's kind of like an Impreza. I mean, minus the turbo and everything. We'll go for a ginormous hood scoop. No. We will go for a ginormous wing. Well, not a ginormous wing. We'll go for a decent-sized wing at the back. It only makes sense, though not that style, because that style doesn't really work. What style is that? Kind of a little bit like an aeroplane wing. It's a weird angle. Come on, we want... There we go. That's the sort of wing we want. Not that way, though. If we can just make it a little touch wider. Not too wide, but just wide enough. And maybe... Can we potentially... Apparently that's where you're going. Can I not move you? I just want to move you a little further onto the actual boot. There we go. Perfect. Decent sized wing. Not too mighty, not too crazy. It'll work. And then we are going to need door handles, naturally. Can't get into the car without those ones. We will get a fuel cap. I don't know why I tend to just go for this one. It's just almost like a default one for me now to grab. And then we'll change the wheels because I don't like the standard ones to them or them. You know what? We'll go with them. I haven't used those for a little while. I'm still not sure about that front. I still feel like that gap there is a bit strange, and I don't know whether a well-placed, shaped grille would help it in all of that. Oh, I think it does look better, actually. I think with these lights, that looks much, much better. Okay, it doesn't. I'm slightly annoyed that the little Galant style lights don't work on this car. However, that's actually not a terrible looking front. That is not a terrible looking front, and it's very FailRace Industries of me. Right, our badge. I tend to go with the old Eagle. We'll stick that on the front. We could go to like the full Chevy size, and then we can have one on the back. Perfect. There we have it. I'm liking it. I am liking it indeed. That's actually quite a nice looking front of the car now. I'm glad I faffed about and got happy with it. Right, drive. Shall we go? Oh, shall we go all-wheel drive? Shall we go for the Impreza? Shall we go for the Subaru vibe? Sure. You know what? Let's do it. Let's go for all-wheel drive. Let's go for manual. I mean, that's very expensive for, and slightly heavier. This is more sporty. So we'll go with a 6-speed manual. The game reckons it'll top out about 160 miles an hour. So sports car terms, that's pretty good going. That's pretty good going. We're not going to go for an electronic. Oh, okay. So that's quite a lot more. That's very expensive. So I think we'll go with geared. It's a good compromise. It's more expensive than the viscous. However, it is sportier and better drivability. So, you know, we're wanting a sports car. We might also go a little bit rear biased on that. We will go, yeah, it's a road car, so we will stick it on the long life tyres. Let's go and give it some decent sized tyres, 255s all round. That should do the trick. Certainly from standard. I mean, it's only 350. It's not the most ludicrous amount of horsepower I have ever built. Do we sit in there quite nicely? Or maybe we'll stick the wheels out at the back a little bit because, yeah, I mean, I could go wider tyres, but I don't think we need to go wider tyres. Right, vented discs, 4-piston vented discs at the front. I'll tend to go pretty big, especially if we're going to be driving this car in Beam, which we will be in a minute, when the brakes can overheat quite easily. Pad types, we might change those. We'll see how we're looking at in terms of sportiness. Under tray, none. We're not having any active aero or any cooling, flaps, etc. Required cooling. Okay, so that is set to do exactly the right amount. We could probably do with, I wonder if this, because I don't think I've touched this in most of my car builds. So I suspect maybe by doing that, that might help with our brake cooling. That might be why some of my cars were actually burning their brakes very, very quickly. So that is a thing. That's a sensible amount. We'll go with, Jesus, sport's expensive. We'll go with a bit more premium. We'll go with a bit more premium in this. Again, it's going to be a decent, this is a decent spec car. It's not a low-powered vehicle here. And shall we go? What do we want? Sportiness, electric variable, or do we want to go variable hydraulic? I mean, that's, yeah. Okay, I guess we'll go with that. We'll give assist as an option. We'll go for some advanced safety features, and then we're on to suspension. I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to suspension. I feel like that's a bit over the top. That's a lot of expense. So I think we're going to go for. Do we go semi-active? I mean, again, that's quite expensive on all of that. Maybe we'll keep it a little bit more adaptive. Sure. Let's go. We'll go in the middle, and again, we'll go semi-active in that. Ooh, utility sport premium. It's liking. So a comfortable but large, powerful, and prestigious car for all kinds of use. I mean, that's kind of what it was going for. If we go sport, no, okay, didn't like that. If we go comfort, goes back up there. Normal, here we go. It's happier when it's set at normal. It does tend to understeer slightly. The car's roll angle is very high. Now, I'm always doing this, and I'm not entirely sure how I stop myself from doing this. Oh! Okay, we've managed to get it slightly better by lowering it quite a lot. Yeah, I'm really bad at getting the car to have a high roll angle, and I'm not sure quite what I'm doing wrong. Maybe don't put it too low, otherwise you'll bump the floor constantly. Yeah, I'm always bad. The brakes suffer from brake fade. Okay. I was not expecting to have brake fade going on. Apparently that's making it worse in terms of desirability. Maybe it's the back that's suffering brake fade then? We will try sticking that up a bit. Try and have some less... We don't want brake failure to go down on the rear. Oh. Now since the rear brake force is very high... But... you don't know what you want, do you? I mean, that... Braking at max load 0%. I'm not quite sure what that means. But there we go. It's a thing. Right, let's go and have a look. So, this is our vehicle. Actually really pleased with the way it looks. Oddly, that's, I think, one of my favourite looking cars. I think it's the best looking car I've built. It looks really good. For something that I have come up with, I really, really like that. Markets, this is where we're going to have... I was going to have a little bit of a nose around. So yeah, Utility Sport Premium, Family Sport Premium. You know, we're talking Impreza-style rival here. It's not a bad GT car. Yeah, that's kind of what the Impreza, the Evos, would have been doing. Fruinia, it is, again, the same category, doing pretty well there. Arcana, it is an excellent utility sport luxury. I guess, yeah, Arcana has got less demands on their car, or sort of, you know, car that would be a normal premium vehicle is actually like a full-on luxury car here. There are a couple of new countries as well to build vehicles for me to mispronounce their names. Hetvesia, I don't know how on earth you pronounce that. Again, we're Utility Sport Premium, Utility Sport Luxury. We're in this kind of everyday car with a bit of go about it, a little bit of a GT car as well. And Dalaher. We are, again, just about everywhere. Not quite as good here. Not quite as good here for the old... For the old... I mean, it's kind of utility sport. I guess perhaps they expect more luxurious cars than the one we've got here. Family sport, it is as well. So, there we go. 21 miles a gallon. Not the worst. Not the worst economy I have done either from a car. So, that's quite nice. Right. That is our vehicle. Can we go away from all of that? I want to have a look at my car. There we go. So, there is our vehicle. Completed. Built. Done. Now it is time to go and drive it. So, to do this, we will save the car. Now, I have found that if I press that button down here, sometimes it crashes the game. So, I'm not going to do it exporting it from here. We're going to go back to the main menu. We're going to find the car, which is down here, and then we click the Export Car to BeamNG button. This will go through a loading screen, and here it is. This is what the vehicle is going to look like when it makes its way into Beam. So we can you can rename the vehicle. Apparently, this one here is strangely named. So there we go. We're just going to call it FRI Flat 6 because I haven't got a good name for it yet. And then we click the export button. It will do its thing, and the car will be in Beam for us to play around with. And now that we are here in Beam, here is the vehicle. This is it, all imported. It's still, I mean, it's got a little bit high of a ride height, but there we go. We come to the ETK kind of little testing area, if you like. Shall we see how fast we can get it around the bowl? Not really played too much with this particular map. Apart from, I think, crashing monster trucks into cars was about my most used feature of this one. I think we're going to run out of grip in about 18. Okay, we're out of grip. We're out of grip trying to run around here. It's not really a high-speed testing bowl. Or, well, I guess it kind of tests how much speed you can take until the front tyres give out. So the car... But you saw from the graphs that we had, this car did, you know, leads to understeer. And, well, we can actually test it here. As we're going around here, the front tyres are giving out before the rears. It's running out of grip at the front and stopping turning, rather than running out of grip at the rears and, well, having the back end step out on you. So you're kind of seeing, again, how you build the cars, how you set them up, how you know, specify the suspension and whatnot will impact on the way that they're going to drive when they are imported into here. Again, I was expecting it to, and you know, that's a great demonstration of showing just what it's going to be like. And I have to say, I mean, the cars drive very well. The cars drive as you would expect any vehicle on Beam to be driving, provided you've not done, you know, I've only tested vehicles, you know, I say vaguely sensible vehicles. I mean, this is me building cars. However, you know, this thing, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's kind of a well, I say comfortable, but it's a decent size, sporty all-wheel drive vehicle with a flat 6 engine, and it handles like a sports car. It's a rival for the Impreza and for the Evo, and seeing as we're not going to be getting the certainly not going to be getting the WRX Imprezas over here anymore. It's sorely needed. Oh no, my wing's full. I think we might need to bolt the wing on better. Who was in charge of the bolts for the wing? You're fired, whoever you are. Oh, there's a water testing patch here. I mean, we skid around on the water testing patch. Does pretty well. Does pretty well on the old grip. As you can see, we have got the assists blinking away, so if we turn that off, we can now drive the car. Well, we'll still have ABS on, but we'll now drive the car without them. Now we'll probably get a little bit more of the oversteer if you want to really be a lunatic. But this would probably... Ooh, is there like a wet sort of skid pan bit here? Cool, I didn't know about that. Let's go and play on the wet skid pan bit without any of the... any of the old assists. Yeah, I mean, you can excite the car into oversteer. Oh, okay. That's really, I mean, there's as little grip as you would expect on that. I mean, I'm liking this crowd. This is just sort of a fun, sensible sports car, I think, and it drives as well as I would want this sort of vehicle to. I don't know if there's any actually off-road areas to go and test around here. I'm also not 100% sure. I believe, seeing as I've now lost a wing, that will have, that will affect the levels of grip. We'll have lost the downforce from the wing pinging off. Not that it was too likely that this car needed or was using a huge amount of downforce, because let's be honest, we're not really going horrendously fast at this particular moment in time. Oh, we've got a nice little testing, very, very narrow little testing track. Perhaps want a smaller and lighter car if you were going to be setting mega quick times down here potentially. But yeah. So the new engine stuff is cool to play around with, different types of engine, something new to explore. Is this just a giant puddle? Giant puddle! I mean, it was less of the sliding. There we go, giant puddle slidey time. Oh, giant puddle crashy time now. Thankfully, plenty of runoff area. That's a tree. Well, I've dinged our brand new car. It came out pretty well from that. It's strong as well, which is always good. Oh, that's just like a big one long strip. Oh, is there a soggy corner down? Sure, let's go and test that out as well. I've not played around very much with this map, as you can tell by me constantly finding new things to go and explore. Shall we try and take this corner sensibly, despite it being all manners of slippy? That's very, very slippery down there. Chuck it in sideways. We'll find some grip because the wheel will go on the tarmac. We're very sideways. It's saying 48. I haven't put on the proper UI apps that I would normally have because that was saying 48, but I think that was just because the rear wheels were spinning like a lunatic. So there we go. That is our car that we have created with the Boxer engine. I quite like this. I think it's probably one of the more sensible vehicles that I have made in automation full stop. And I think the front certainly looks pretty good. I've not quite got the rear sorted. Oh, I've pinged a wheel off. We have broken a wheel. We now do not have a front left. Oh, we might not have a front right in a second. Oh, we've made a horn. Sure. There we go. I actually quite like it. I think aside from the big old, there we go. We'll get it back to its good condition. Yeah, the rear perhaps needs a little bit of work. I need to work on my styling at the back of the car. The front, I think, is actually a nice looking car, sensibly engined, a lot of fun to drive. A good Evo Impreza alternative, if you like. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and of course a big thank you to the devs of Beam and Automation to allow me to play around with this stuff a little bit early. It is really cool, and it should be, or the update is, if I've got my scheduling of all videos correct, either today or tomorrow, depending on quite when this one goes out. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun playing around with vehicles, creating whatever weird and wonderful. You can go as mad on your creations as you like, some of them that I have done, you've seen in previous videos, or you can try and build sensible cars like this and just make something that is really rather good fun to drive around in. That'll be it from me. Until next time, though, a goodbye.